Welcome to Storied Audio. The storm arrived without warning, one of those sudden Appalachian tempests that seemed to materialize out of the mountains themselves. Rain hammered the tin roof of the remote cabin, wind howled through the trees like something wounded, and thunder rolled so close it rattled the windows in their frames. Chloe stood at the door, soaked from her frantic sprint from the truck, her breath fogging in the cold air. She hadn't expected anyone to be here. She certainly hadn't expected him. Elias looked up from a fireplace, where he'd been coaxing a flame to life. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The years between them collapsed into a single, breathless second. "Chloe," he said finally, her name falling from his lips like a memory he'd tried too hard to forget. She swallowed. "I didn't know you still came up here." "I didn't know you did either." The wind screamed, and the door slammed shut behind her. They were trapped. The cabin had always been their place, before everything fell apart. Before the fight that ended them. Before the silence that followed. Chloe peeled off her wet jacket, avoiding his eyes. "Road washed out. I couldn't turn around." "Storm supposed to last all night," Elias said, tossing another log onto the fire. Sparks leapt upward, casting flickering shadows across his face. "Maybe longer." Of course it was. Fate had always had a cruel sense of humor when it came to them. She sat on the old leather couch, arms wrapped around herself. "You look different." He huffed a soft laugh. "Older." "Tired," she corrected gently. He didn't deny it. Since the breakup, Elias had thrown himself into work. Long hours, constant travel, anything to keep his mind busy enough not to think about her. He'd built a life that looked stable from the outside, but inside, he felt like a house with all the lights turned off. Chloe, meanwhile, had moved away, chasing a fresh start she never quite caught. She dated, she worked, she smiled when she was supposed to, but something in her had stayed frozen the day she walked away from him. They had both been surviving, not living. The storm raged harder, as if demanding they finally speak the truth. Elias sat across from her, elbows on his knees. "We should probably talk about it." She stiffened. "About what?" "You know what." Lightning flashed, illuminating the room in stark white. Their breakup had been brutal, not because of betrayal or cruelty, but because of fear. Chloe had been offered a major promotion that required relocating. Elias had been offered a partnership that tied him to their hometown. Two dreams, pulling in opposite directions. Neither of them had been willing to ask the other to sacrifice everything. And neither had been brave enough to say, "I'll go with you anyway." So instead, they fought. Words sharpened by fear, thrown like knives. Accusations that weren't true. Silence where there should have been vulnerability. "You said I didn't care about your future," Elias murmured, staring into the fire. Chloe's throat tightened. "And you said I was running away from us." He nodded. "I shouldn't have." "I shouldn't have either." The storm outside softened for a moment, as if listening. Hours passed. The fire grew warmer. The air between them thawed. Chloe finally broke the silence. "I thought you hated me." Elias looked up sharply. "I never hated you. I hated how much it hurt." Her breath hitched. "I kept thinking," he continued, voice low, "if I just asked you to stay, or if I just said I'd go with you, maybe we wouldn't have ended up like this." Chloe's eyes glistened. "I wanted you to ask. I wanted you to fight for us. I thought you wanted me to let you go." "I didn't," she whispered. "I just didn't know how to choose between you and the life I'd worked for. And I didn't know how to choose between you and the life I'd built." They stared at each other, the truth finally laid bare. "We were both scared," Elias said. "We were both stubborn," Chloe added. "And stupid." She laughed through her tears. "So stupid." The wind howled again, rattling the cabin. The fire crackled. Something shifted between them, something fragile, something familiar. Elias moved to sit beside her on the couch, leaving just enough space to be polite, but not enough to pretend he didn't want to be close. "You ever think about us?" he asked quietly. "All the time," she admitted. "I tried not to. I dated other people. I tried to move on. But every time something good happened, I wanted to tell you. And every time something bad happened, I wanted you there." He exhaled shakily. "Same." She turned toward him. "Then why didn't you call?" "Because I thought you were happier without me." Her voice broke. "I wasn't." He reached out, hesitated, then brushed a tear from her cheek. "Chloe." The touch was soft, tentative, but it lit every nerve in her body. "I missed you," she whispered. "I never stopped missing you." The storm outside roared, but inside the cabin, the world went still. Elias's hand lingered on her cheek. She leaned into it, closing her eyes. "We can't pretend nothing happened," she said. "I'm not pretending," he replied. "I'm remembering." She opened her eyes, meeting his. "And what do you remember?" He swallowed. "That you were the best thing that ever happened to me, and losing you was the worst." Her breath trembled. "Elias." He leaned in slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met, soft at first, then deeper, fueled by years of longing and regret and love that had never truly faded. It wasn't a kiss of impulse. It was a kiss of recognition. A kiss of coming home. When they finally pulled apart, foreheads touching, Chloe whispered, "What do we do now?" "We start over," he said. "But this time we don't run. We talk. We choose each other, even when it's hard. And if our dreams pull us in different directions again, then we find a way to walk in the same one." She smiled through tears. "You really think we can?" He brushed his thumb across her lips. "I think we never stopped wanting to." By dawn, the storm had passed. Sunlight filtered through the trees, casting golden beams across the cabin floor. Chloe woke curled against Elias, his arm wrapped around her like he'd never let go again. For the first time in years, she felt peaceful. He stirred, tightening his hold. "Morning." "Morning," she whispered. They lay there in the quiet, listening to the soft drip of rain from the roof. "Do you think this was fate?" she asked. He smiled. "I think fate gave us a storm. What we do after, that's on us." She nodded, threading her fingers through his. "Then let's choose better this time." "Together," he said. "Together." Outside, the world was washed clean. Inside, so were they. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.